Yep. Get started again.
You have a warrant here?
Yep, this must be Joel here. So.
Okay. You're gonna have a lot of time.
Yeah. One pure. Yeah.
Sorry.
Wish everything was as easy. That's not my
Especially right now. That just for one day off.
See, something's not right.
What is that? Unfortunately, that's.
For years or?
Yeah. I think, what I'm saying, I think it's not like. So.
Yeah, it only happened yesterday, I'm like, no. My own. I was gonna almost 10 o'clock. What's that? Finally got it done. The other one more. That's what they think, we can close early. Isolating the air. Do anything. Yeah. Yeah. You guys have enough room down there?
Very.
Yeah, I believe we're ready, because I think Joel's on here. Oh.
Did you?
We'll get a. What do you think next? Yeah, I think it's Joel. I asked him.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Planning Commission's order on September 9th, 2024, 5:04 p.m. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to start with the approval of the audits. Okay, 2024 minutes as presented. I can have a motion for that.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Was there something you want to change? You want to amend?
I think it was delayed.
Oh, you're in favor, right, Jen? So two permits, Savannah, 6801 North Michigan. Could you come forward, please? Can you speak your name and address?
Joshua Farnham, 6801 North Michigan.
Okay, so I'm not able to make it, you are Joshua?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for showing up, we've got the application. Did anyone up here have any questions for Josh? That's it?
Both of familiar with.
Very familiar, okay. Is there any questions? Okay, all right,
I'll make a motion to. approve the bond amendment. Here, Brian?
a second,
I'll second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Like to lead, or? So,
I'm in favor.
okay, thank you. All right, first and second, all, motion carried, thank you, then we can discuss, you know, about our, maybe tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Public comments correspondence, I just had, something that we do have, we had 3 applications for, planning commission, commissioner, and I able to conduct 2 phone interviews. I plan to rotate with the 3rd one to conduct the 3rd one. So as soon as that is complete, then I can give my nomination to the board. It's going to be fair to everyone, make sure everyone got a chance to interview. So we'll take that up next month. Okay. All right. Any forthcoming events in the house? It's pretty much our show. All right.
Just, teams, that's something that we've done, recording some experiences, work from home. Maybe just talk about the thinking in terms of what's being changed and what we should be expecting.
So, the town board, we're going to be talking about that, we've got, reclassification, and I believe it's October 14th. We're having a meeting, so I know that, the information has been in the town office, so if you want to take a look at it, go through it, if you have questions, you know, you can ask ahead of time, and, we will have this meeting, we'll be talking about this at the town board as well. Okay?
It's on file. Better than, he did not care how, we are. But we're doing notice, on board. Yeah, and, he goes with you. I think it's very important. Their ordinance, which I amplified, include things that work. So I got to go ahead, talk to the attorney, I don't know either. But I don't stand behind what he did. I'm sure you brought it to the if you want to see it, you need to look at it. You can't, in other words, you can't discuss at a board meeting. It's to be looked at ahead of a board meeting.
It's not available electronically. Yeah, it's.
No,
No.
it's not for the. I don't think, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't, last time I did it, 11 or 12 or something. Yeah, I don't think we had it. When I did it, we did it in the 70s. Another, I would think it was, because that's what I was.
Yes.
The only reason it's on your agenda, the only reason it's on the planning board is because the planning board, under our own rules and regulations, they want to know that this office has changed over the years. For the time, the planning board was at a solar for the class. That's been changed now. Planning board still recommends that CSM do that nature. So, since the planning board recommends, since the town statute allow planning board will have a far as goes, the only one that I think the only cap rate is
And so the planning commission is that resolution.
I did it right. You did tell, I tell you, I can't remember. The proof, I see my way. All you're doing is, all you're doing is saying that the new call, what are we number, put in nice organization of one. You're saying that what I got now, okay with me. Okay. You all change the voter, but not one.
You can shut it down, this is going to be my question. When we not had this conversation, that's about other things, as the code has been codified, is it clear to identify what is changed from the
But again, the only thing you do people not true, I'm not going to speak, is
Thank you. All right, one motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Short meeting. Oh, yes, good, good. Well, shoulder trouble, everything, okay. And. Could be a lot worse.
Still, yeah. So.
No. It's been ready for sure.
Okay.
Trying to reach over.
Well, one second, let me try and exercise.
I asked him today how she got to it. I asked her something. But us. And then obviously Debbie failed. Just kind of pull through everything. Because I mean, I've never seen some pictures.
Call this meeting of the town board of Waterford to order on September 9th, 2024, 5:30 p.m. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under liberty. Thank you. We'll start with the approval of the town board minutes dated August 5th, 2024, and special meeting minutes dated August 14th, 2024, as printed.
I'll make a motion to accept them as printed.
Second.
1 second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Treasurer report. As of September 1st, general and tax checking, $5,777.60. General operating money market, $377,109.72. Reserve funds, $1,528,512.06. And undesignated ARPA recovery funds, $172,870.11. Can I have a motion to approve? They can, play claims, please.
I'll move to pay the claims as printed. I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Chair, may I make a suggestion? I've heard people complain that they can't really hear our voices when it's on Zoom, so if we could all please check our microphones and make sure we continue to speak into them so people can hear us. Just a suggestion, thank you.
All right, correspondence, I've received a thank you letter for the DPW. And read it to the best of my ability. To the person in charge, I have reserved Waterford Town Park for Saturday, August 3rd. I picked up the key, the Friday before, and we stopped at the park to check and found that the toilet was not working in the men's room. We talked to 2 town employees, Jim and Ken. They were the friendliest, most cooperative guys. They went above and beyond and everything worked well for our picnic. Those 2 deserve an attaboy. So attaboy, Jim and Ken. And thank you guys from Larry Cook. So thank you. Department committee reports. I know Mr. Horth cannot be here today, so did you want to talk about the listening session, Tom?
Yeah, the listening session coming up on county tax. Pamphlets are in the back there. Pamphlets in the back talking about the thing. There'll be a listening session out here. One of the dates. In front of me. Here.
October 1st.
October 1st at this location here. If anybody wants to know more about the county sales tax of 0.5% of that meeting.
Okay, thank you.
What time for,
What's it?
what time?
6 p.m.
6 o'clock here,
Yeah.
October 1st. Yeah, and there are sheets that I made copies for in the back in case anybody forgets. We don't have anybody from the PD. Did you want to read this or did you want me to just the numbers? Sorry.
For the month of August, in the town of Waterford, they had 42 traffic calls, 34 municipal citations, 5 warnings were issued, 14 ordinance violations, 1 arrest, 225 extra detentions or crime preventions, 56 business or building checks, 6 welfare checks, 21 rescue runs, 1 parking violation, 2 parking permission requests, and 16 assists to other jurisdictions for a total of 471 calls. For the village of Waterford, they had 66 traffic calls, 21 citations, 5 warnings, 1 arrest, 83 extra detentions or crime preventions, 13 business or building checks, 6 welfare checks, 16 rescue runs, 10 parking permission requests, and 7 assists for other jurisdictions for a total of 265 calls.
Thank you, Bob, for that information. And just because there have been questions out there, we have been fulfilling our contract that we have with the village. Just to answer that question, anybody here from Michigan Fire? Doug, do you have anything from Michigan
No, I do
Fire?
not. I did reach out to the village for call numbers and they sent us a rather detailed report that rather drag over. I believe everybody has a copy in their box, so it actually goes through runs so far this year and actually also shows the revenue that they made.
And we'll get together with Chandler for a meeting. September 26th. WWMD, no one can be here for that, so I have some information. All the equipment has been pulled from the water. Annual meeting will be on September 28th at 9 a.m. at the Lions Club Civic Center. And they're working with Officer Halliday to remove the buoys by the end of the month. That's from WWMD. Board of Health, it is RSV season. So we're all politicians up here. We can't kiss babies. No kissing babies. And again, too, the flu vaccinations are coming out. So to be prepared for the fall and winter flu vaccine. And we do have, and I have it posted out in the hallway as well. There's a crisis line for mental health. 988 is a crisis line number for anyone who may feel like they're in crisis and they need help, and you can pass that along to anyone you need to. I'm trying to share it on Facebook so it's out there. And that's for the Board of Health. And Kenny Park.
Okay, well, I have a few things. The pickleball courts are finished as far as we went with that. Cleaned, the crack taken care of, seal coated, and striped, and the new basketball hoops and asphalt's been repaired. We got a level one, but other than that, we're in good shape there.
Ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think anybody get a chance to see them? Yeah, turned out pretty nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, it looked really nice, this truck.
Maybe without redoing the whole thing, it's better than a whole bunch of money, but
Yeah,
they'll get some use.
So make sure you guys get out there and use it. Thank you. Any, roads?
Okay, well, I have a few things on roads. The reapplication for the ARIP grant was sent through, one for Lowland and the other one for to finish North Lake Drive. So that was successfully submitted. They probably won't know anything on this till probably like the end of the year. Cause the last go around was 3 months, once everything was submitted. That's the second go around. I don't know how many go arounds. That first go around was 50 million that they handed out to everybody through the state. And they got 200 million left. So unless they're gonna do it all this time, I don't know, but we'll find out. We tried to ask how many, nobody knows. So maybe maybe that first one was a trial run to see how it went, put all the paperwork. That's my guess. So maybe they'll run a whole lot more through. There was only one municipality picked in southeastern region, so hopefully we're next. To see, that would be something nice. That's all I have for the ARIP. Next is Town Line Road. We had a meeting with Norway, hopefully a wrap-up meeting. Numbers look good on the grant. If anybody can remember, the bid price came in at 1.2, some change, and it was approved for 1,050,000. So we're still under at 73,417, and we're waiting on a couple of environmental bills yet with silt fencing, erosion mats and stuff. We didn't get that today, so smaller bills. So we're gonna be under, just a matter of how much Norway wants to spend above and beyond. Because anything we spend above 1,050,000, then we have to split it 50-50. And they don't want to spend any more than that. So we may just finish that project up. And the only thing, I said that from the get-go when we did the line painting, that wasn't covered under the grant because it wasn't in the bid. So that was done by the county. I didn't really have any choice in the matter there. So we'll end up splitting that bill. That was over 3,000 just for the striping, but we're gonna split. So we'll find some more answers moving forward. They were gonna bring that up at their meeting tonight. That hashed out a few things, so hopefully I'll find something tomorrow. And that's the end of that grant. Next is they're gonna be starting to Hidden Harbor, start cutting the driveways and start installing culverts after next Monday, starting Monday, 16th. So
how many culverts are out there, 6 or 7?
7 and 42 driveways, which is a lot. That's the best way to do that, is cut the driveways off. So, Vietnam Park Engineering, they kind of got things wrapped up. They came up with a couple of options. I have it on my computer, but it has to be looked at a big screen. It's just so small. So we're gonna have a meeting with them at the office, put it up on the screen so we can go through a couple of options. Supervisor Kirky, I'll let you know when that meeting is, week or so. Their engineer, our engineer, and then we can go through. They have 2 options for us. Of course, to get that grant, we had to accommodate bike paths and a multi-use path and bike lanes through that, because that is a bike route. So that's gonna be a project to get that done. That would be really nice. And I'll come up with some times and dates for that meeting, hopefully in a week or so.
Yeah, let
And
me
if
know.
anybody else wants to join in, they can. That's a big project moving forward there. Supervisor Gerke, did you want to mention the salt shed?
Why don't you, because you talked to the contractor?
Okay, well, we've been trying to get some work on that thing for almost 2 years. I found a contractor that's willing to do the work. We're gonna do some work too with the concrete blocks, asphalt and digging and such. That one actually came in lower than the first bid 2 years ago. That came in at 21,437. I don't have a time frame on that, when he was available to do it. The last time we did speak, 2 weeks ago, said just let it know. But I need your guys' approval for that. I don't know if I talked to you about that earlier, Dale.
Yeah, no, we're not able to get any additional bids because there are no other contractors.
Yes.
And it's not something
So
Do you have anything in writing?
talk about that.
You have the last bid that's the higher. Technically, you have two bids, if you think. about it.
Yep. First bid was 23.5. This one's 21.4.
I guess I'd like to know more what they're all doing to the shed.
Well, that's not the only work that this contract. But we definitely need to get that support.
I think we have to actually post the bid legally, like you're doing kind of word of mouth, where I think we have to legally post it. That we don't get anybody else.
Yeah, probably. They're replacing what, some of the, beams in that?
3 broken posts, and we're gonna put 7 support beams on the back. On the 40-degree angle. With standstill brackets.
Because right now, you guys just fixed it up the last through the year.
We just patched it with some 2x2 posts, yes.
And you're digging in a support wall for the beams that'll.
We're gonna use the concrete blocks we have in the back, 2x2x6 concrete blocks, put them up on it. Build a trench and then put the supports on that. So we'll be good to go.
So I guess we'll have to bid it out and then,
Get it on an agenda as line item.
yeah.
Okay,
What's agenda?
next month.
Yes.
All right. That's all I have. Oh, somebody had a question on speed limit. 64.
Oh, yes, I don't know if that, Tiffany here, so we had some questions about, 164 by Washington Caldwell. Speeder, and somebody was asking to maybe get some flashing lights or something to help people slow down, and I know you've got some information.
Yeah. Well, typically when it comes to any issues with a state highway, they deal with the homeowners that make the complaint. To get stuff rectified instead of going through the municipality. So. Whatever it regards signings, trees, anything, state highway has to be done through the local DOT. They manage everything.
Yeah, I know in the past, years ago, I talked to the DOT about speed limit. And they weren't really interested in teaching anything, so we'll keep working on it. See what we can-
I have seen state troopers there the last couple of days doing radar. So maybe that call was made. I don't know.
You know,
I was surprised to see one there. But I seen one.
okay. I'll get back in touch. And
Okay,
Nice report. You got a lot of plates spinning.
yes, a lot of places been in plenty of fun.
thank you, Ken. Town planning recommendations, one pure permit.
We don't.
Okay, old business, new business, we've got, only for the hearing on October 14th, we spoke about this a little bit of planning, we've got the recodification. So what we need is to be able to, the vote for me to sign this, we can post this in the paper as a class 2 notice for recodification, and we'll meet on October 14th at 4 p.m. So can I have a motion for that, please?
I'll make the motion to have a hearing on October 14th at 4 p.m.
You're also calling for the hearing for the planning commission too, to meet before you, in that same notice. So if you make a motion for planning commission. Or,
Sure.
I'll second both.
Are they both at 4 p.m.?
no, planning board first. Notice, get times. It says planning board first and town board right
Only this one time, that was confusion.
now. You should have both of them in there.
It does have both the planning and town board on the agenda, but it only has one time, so I didn't know.
What time, 4 p.m. would be good, because that's pretty. We're okay with that. But maybe when, when she publishes it, I think the notice has, check, I think it said one right after that. Otherwise, I can help on that. As long as your motion tonight, so the planning board will meet first.
My motion will be to have the planning board meet at 4 p.m. and the town board immediately follow.
Thank you.
And the 14th is a Mondays.
Is that a second?
Yes.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. So we spoke about this on planning commission. We had applicants for the planning commission. I tried reaching all of them by phone for phone interviews. There's one that I haven't been able to interview yet on the phone. So for purposes of being fair, I just want to make sure that I can have a chance to talk to that person before we bring that here. So we will wait and get that next time. So we will be in touch with that person and make sure that we spoke to everyone and gave them all a fair chance. Discussion and possible action regarding change to police policy 1016.7, 30 hours in any 2-day period to 32 hours. I believe, I don't know if you guys have the here. Did you want to talk a little bit?
So the current policy limits the police officers to working 30 hours in any 48 hour 2-day period. So the discussion is about increasing that to 32 hours. So it aligns with an 8-hour shift. So for example, right now, the police can't work a double 16-hour shift, have 16 hours off, and then work a full another double because they're limited to 30 hours instead of 32. So the idea is to just align the policy with a more practical application of what our police officers do. If that makes sense.
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And, alrighty, it's that time of year again. We need to start budget workshop. We'll be sending out some forms, we'll be picking some dates, start working on that. I like how we did that last year. There was quite a few years where we didn't have those, and I think they're really important, that we sit down, as many of us as, we can, and go through everything, so everyone has an understanding of where we're sitting and where we're going. So we will start those. We've been quite busy with other things, but we still have to do business. So we will start the budget workshop soon. I'll send out a notice for that. And were there any public comments that were turned in? No? Okay.
Mr. Williams,
Oh, come up front, Mr. Olander, please. State your name and address for the record, please.
Ed Olander, 33rd New Birdie, just kidding, Waterford Woods. So I was gonna do my presentation here one way, but I'm gonna reverse it because I want to send kudos. Last week, there was really obnoxious comments made on social media relative to the town, the village. I think you all know what I'm talking about. I see Mr. Ulanders, and kudos to you for taking the high road and explaining it. And I was almost shocked by what I seen last week. And if we're gonna move forward, as a community, village, living side by side by the town, you can't have that. Further, I'm convinced that we'll never see that. I don't want to sound like a pessimist. I'm a realist. I've lived out here for 25 years, visited the area before that, especially for theater. And just kidding. And I've had some situations where I had to work with the county and so forth and the town. And I started studying about the benefits of being a village versus a town. I always thought the village was the low run relative to hierarchy, et cetera, et cetera. Found out they're pretty powerful. They don't have to put up with outside bureaucracy. honesty is what I call it. And I think you all know what I mean by that. So I really like that. Way back, I said, if ever the town and the village talk annexation, I'll be the first one in line to vote for it. So with that said, now I changed my mind. We ain't getting there. We never will. And I started doing more studying, and I think the long-term solution, I think, and I hope somebody brings this up, is I think it's time to form a city. And stop this Hatfield and McCoy BS, because it just ain't gonna end. I just don't see it. I don't know if somebody else has got a ray of hope about seeing us getting united. I hear it during forums, oh, Olive Branch, we gotta work together, blah, blah, blah. That's what it is. It's lip service. Simple as that.
I'll throw in my 2 cents. We probably had, probably 40 meetings already with the village on the border agreement, and there are 2 members of our board that are on there. And they would like to see us work together more, and we are getting close on the border agreement. The people that were affected, we had a special meeting by invitation to talk to those people last week here. So there is progress, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Just because one person on their board, and I read the comments and I was rather upset with them, went off, it's not the feeling of their home.
I've seen more than that. I've seen a few people on that governing board make comments, and I think we all have. Like I said, I'm beyond hope of us ever working together. It's just gonna be a Hatfield and McCoy's,
Well,
you know,
we're hoping to have the border agreement to the state by the end of the year.
but I mean, have you ever thought of going further, really?
We have talked about a fourth.
Because, you know,
city between
we're
the two
gonna
of us,
be
but
hit.
right now I don't think it's feasible.
We're gonna be hit with a lot of challenges, and I'm not talking about what we're going through now. You know, the town, the police department, then you got the village, who always acts lily white. What are they going through with fire and EMS, right? It's like, I don't know if that was a smoke screen last week or what, or red herring, but it's just so sad to see that. I think this is a great community. I don't know if anybody I don't like in this community. And if the politicians, if they stepped out of their shoes, I'd be more than happy and probably would enjoy their company in sarsaparilla.
Well,
Spike,
one
of
thing,
course.
and we brought it up last week at the meeting with the people that were here, is when you talk to people, a lot of people think, what do you mean village and town? Why can't we just be one? And that's what somewhat the board agreement is trying to work out, to do that and share more services and that also.
Well, like I said, I'm just putting my 2 cents in. I think somebody should look into that. I think you should get the DOA involved and tell, and you know, if you talk annexation, the pitchforks and the torches are gonna come up. You know, that's another 4-letter word. So I think what you need is somebody from the outside, maybe DOA,
Well, we
come
talked,
in and explain things. What are the benefits? Because the way what my homework tells me is it's gonna save taxpayers a lot of money.
other than combined services, from what the DOA said, was there really isn't that much of a benefit, am I right, Dale?
Yeah, from what Stan Riffley, municipal attorney, said too, there.
So both of them said that. In fact, the DOA said he was kind of surprised when we had him on a conference call that both the village and the town were actually talking. He says, and he was here for the hearing. He says, I was there less than 2 years ago, and that's not the way the feeling I got. I said, well, we said, well, things have changed. So
I would be open, and I am gonna do my homework on the side in that, and because I'm gonna push this, but I'd be open to have somebody from the outside come in and talk to us, and DOA offers that service.
well, that's what we took him up on. That's why we
Present
had
the
him on
facts.
the conference
I don't
call.
wanna hear, no offense, I don't wanna hear from a lawyer, I wanna hear from somebody who decides whether or not that's gonna happen. And it's like the DOA, they decided whether or not we we're gonna
They
incorporate,
do,
right?
when they have their meetings, they have them on speakerphone, so he's guiding them along.
Yeah,
We've had a couple of conference calls with Eric Schmidtke. He's a guy at the DOA who deals with border agreements and incorporation, that kind of thing. I talked to him myself last week one day, had a question for him, so they're willing to work with us. And
That's good.
have worked with us.
I talked to him a lot when we were going through the Michigan incorporation. Very good, knowledgeable guy, that's all he does.
Yep, yes,
That's
he
his
is.
job.
I was really surprised when he said that there's towns that incorporated and then went back. And what was the number one reason? Dollars. It cost a hell of a lot more to be that village, than being in the town. And every situation is different, but I think somebody should probably At least get the ball rolling on that or something, or else come up with a way that we could work with our neighbors.
And that's what we are doing after the last year.
The border agreement will be a
appointed
50-year agreement.
I appointed a special committee. They've been working on border agreements, and actually soon we're gonna have a special town meeting to talk about the details and what they've been working on and go through all that. It's been something in the works since I pretty much became chair this last summer.
Do you think-
It's been unique.
Do you think you'll see something this year?
Yes.
Okay.
It would have to, again, you know,
Sorry.
give and take, but we also wanna make sure it benefits town taxpayers. So.
Even to like some lines for EMS, and I'll use, Highway 36 and 164. Depends where your accident is as to who your EMS service is gonna be. Well, that's gonna be straightened out. So things like that we're, talking about. Another thing is, if the agreement goes through on the areas that could be annexed into the village in the next 50 years, if we put a road in there or redo the road, they will put the sewer and water under that road when we redo the road on their dime.
You were there when we met with Mr. Delagrave, rest in peace. He had some input, and this is when we were fighting, try to get the contract back with the village. And I remember his words, and he said, fire districts, it's gotta happen, and then relative to EMS, he said, the county maybe is gonna have to step in and take over that service.
County has been looking at EMS, but not fire. They can fund EMS, but not fire. And they had meetings last year. Since then, they have been meeting just with the chiefs, and I went to a couple of chiefs meetings, even though I got looked at because I was the only political person there. Since then, I haven't heard anything, so I don't know what's going on
Yeah,
now.
we've had some meetings at heads of government meetings talking about that, but it's something that we're working right now. But we have been, and we are presently working on border agreement with them, and we'll have a meeting to see where we're at and see where the board sits with all of that, and we'll go from there.
The other topic I'd like to hit, if I may, is, this, last closed case with one of the police officers, Mr. Ferger. I read all of the reports, I read the open records, I read the articles, I read them at least 3 times, and every time I read them, it stunk worse and worse and worse. And why am I saying that? Case is closed, maybe. If I was Mr. Ferger's lawyer, it ain't closed, but anyway, we have ongoing investigations. And you guys all know the details. I'm here to ask you, don't be a Shaniqua or Shanakwa, however they pronounce it. And you know where I'm going with this. I hate lists. I hate using the word hate. Especially government lists. And not just because I'm on about 10 of them. It's because they never go away. Once you're on that list, it goes away. Now, let me just say this, when I read all of this. If I bumped into Mr. Ferger in the hallway here, I wouldn't know who he is. So he's got a little accountability on his part. But a few months ago, if you recall, when the police department wanted to do, I call it the moonlighting. I came up here and I said, hey, all for it, looking at the safety aspect of it. And I think I referenced, industries, airline industry, trucking, whatever, they can only work so much, and then they have to be off. They gotta be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And those are pretty much my words. If you don't, and there's a lot of municipalities, from what I understand, is they don't allow that much hours, no matter where they're working. They gotta be bright and bushy-tailed. These guys are carrying guns and women and tasers. If they make a wrong split-second decision, that's it. The town's gonna be on the line. If a pilot decided to work extra hours and something catastrophic happened, who are they going to? They're going to the enabler, the airline company, for allowing that to happen. It's as simple as that. So now going further, I looked at this and I thought, well, okay, the incident started in Shanakwa. Okay, and we know what it is. The Brady witness list, untruthfulness. My God, when I read that, I was like, that's a polite word for lying. But when I read that, I was like, Everybody, half the people in this room should be on that list. Every politician, past, present, and future should be on that list. Congress should be on that list. And oh, by the way, somebody enlighten me. Do you know our DA, district attorney? You want to guess if she's on that list? She is. I seen the list.
A DA would not put herself on their own list, and that list is for people who testify in court. A DA
Well,
does not
I'm just saying, I looked it up, whatever, and there was a few people on there, judges, et cetera, et cetera. But nonetheless, okay, let's put her aside.
That is a website. That is not the actual Brady list. That is a website that some entity put together. That is not any Brady list that is current in the state of Wisconsin.
So that's false?
I don't know if it's false, but that website is not an actual Brady list.
Okay.
It's-
We-
But let's just put that aside.
Okay,
Did we not enable
okay,
Mr. Ferger?
sounds good. All right, thank you.
Yeah, it started.
Have a good week.
Isn't the police union, isn't this board, aren't we enabling that kind of action? From what I read, he worked a 12-hour shift for Waterford, and then he had to report for duty in Schnockwell. And that's for another 12-hour shift. And I'm like, how irresponsible could that be? And again, I think he has to accept a little personal accountability. It's as simple as that. You can't be right, bushy-tailed. So I think we did something to enable that action. And so everybody should take responsibility. Everybody's an accomplice to that. And you shouldn't have that happen.
And this is why it's important that we follow department policy and fill out information and forms of where they're working and what other part-time job or full-time jobs that they do have, which is department policy, which we have
Right.
tried to get everyone to.
This guy is burning the candle at three ends, from what I understand. Like I said, I wouldn't recognize what bumped into him, but somebody said he's a single father raising 4 kids. It's like, feel sorry for the guy. I always had signs on my lawn that says back to badge, so now I'm gonna give a little bit more than lip service and say, look, going forward with the rest of these individuals, if something like that comes up, don't even thank Brady list. That's a terrible list to have. It's as simple as that.
So what would you suggest?
I suggest monitoring and not allowing all those hours.
So
If you and I were working 20 hours, I wouldn't even remember my name after 20 hours. I'd be so burnt out.
So that is already department policy.
Well, then how is that happening then?
One of the things that we.
So it wasn't be a
One of the
monitor.
things that we had to do was make sure that all the employees were complying with department policy to fill out that form to let us know what other jobs they had. And some of them did not want to fill out those forms and comply to department policy, which is part of some of the issues that we've been having that we don't need to get into tonight.
And I won't, but you gotta come up with a policy and that's gotta be enforceable, simple as that. I think we enabled the whole
We
situation.
are saying-
Everybody played a part in that. So, and I just don't want to see anybody else going forward with these investigations. Even hear the list or the Brady list, simple as that. So, thank you
Just so
very
you
much.
understand, I just want your understanding that any officer who's on a Brady list is really not able to testify. So let me just.
I know, I
It's a
read all.
scenario. Let me just a scenario, okay? Someone is assaulted, right? That responding officer is on the Brady list. That responding officer cannot testify. It might throw out the entire case. How would you feel as a victim of that case? We have the things that we need to do to comply for a reason.
Yeah,
So-
I think somebody wise enough can work around it, but
If
anyway.
your concern is the Brady list, I would encourage you to write to your legislators at the state level and ask them to fix the Brady list issue.
They had a good article in the Sentinel, they brought that up, and I guess some group is fighting it or whatever, but like I said, I don't like any list where once you're on it, you're on. No fly list, this list. I mean, my God, it's just a weapon in the wrong hands, as simple as that. And it sounds like nobody's listening, and these people try to get off it, whatever. It takes an act of God, and he ain't listening. So, again, think about Mr. Ferger and what he's going through now for being untruthful. nobody got hurt. There's untruthfulness. If
That's,
they did, it would be another story.
so I don't want to belabor the point, but that's not relevant. What is relevant to us is the safety of this community. And to the chair's point, that if somebody were assaulted and he is unable to testify because the DA has determined that his testimony maybe question the point that it's not worth pursuing, that's not providing the level of protection that we need to our residents of this town. So the underlying issue is really not relevant to this. It's a question of public safety and whether or not that individual officer will be called upon to testify in court to put the criminals behind bars. That is what our concern is. It's not the untruthfulness or him going to breakfast. That is not what our concern is here.
And I hear you, and I understand that part. When I look at this case, though, I think that went over and beyond to get this individual.
And again,
where he's
that
at.
may be accurate, but that is not the
So-
point here.
Yeah, we were.
I'm just saying,
we're
when
not
you
charged
guys,
with putting
when you
people
move
on
forward,
the
just keep that in mind. We don't wanna destroy people's lives. Police department, I'd never be a police officer. I tell my kids don't, what they're going through today, that's a tough job. Very tough. So cut them a little slack.
It is a tough job, just understand it's a tough job for us too, to make sure policies are
Yeah.
followed to protect taxpayers.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you.
thank you very much.
Okay, forthcoming events? Tim, anything? How the car show
Coming up.
go? How the car show go?
We're fine. Basically, good.
Yeah. All right, so besides October 14th, and then we've got that October 1st at 6 p.m. for the proposed sales tax soliciting session here. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Well, can I ask one suggestion? I was talking before the meeting, last month, the planning commission ran over because they had an extensive agenda. This month, they ran really short because there was only one item. Could we change the town board to be commencing following the end of the planning commission rather than at 30? Or could that cause a problem that I'm not aware of?
I think that makes sense in a certain way, but then again, for people who want to come to town board and they know that town board starts at 30, they're not going to know when. I think that would create an issue.
Okay, that's a suggestion.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
6.
Yeah, well, that's-